The narcissist collapse. Now, narcissistic people can have one catastrophic collapse where they lose everything, or they can have a series of mini collapses within relationships due to their personality traits, the criteria of the disorder, such as that grandiosity, the sense of entitlement, the need for validation and adoration from those around them. So they can have mini collapses, which is often why they seek a new source of supply to gain that reaction. So what causes a narcissist collapse? And one of the first things is when they lose their source of validation that they need from others to support their fragile egos, to support their fragile self-esteem. Yes, narcissistic people put on that grandiose act that they are perfect and they are better than all others, and this is to hide their own insecurities and their own inadequacies, and they often seek that external validation to prove to themselves that they haven't got the issues. So when they lose that validation, their issues surface, and this causes a narcissist collapse, which is often why you'll see when their family members are no longer validating them because they've seen through them, a narcissist will go right ahead and impress strangers to regain that validation from those around them that they're not the issue, it's their family and their friends that are the issue. When they're confronted with their failures, with their setbacks, with their mistakes, narcissistic people have that sense of entitlement. They believe they deserve the special treatment. So not getting it leads to their downfall, and they scramble to do damage control, to remain in control, to get their needs met, to get their sense of entitlement met. And when things aren't going their way is often why they will go all out to shift the blame onto somebody else, because they can't imagine that they wouldn't just be entitled to something. Exposure. They are the masters of manipulation, and they use lots of different tactics to manipulate, from gaslighting, triangulating, silent treatment, projection, blame shifting, word salad, and many more to assert control over those around them. And when these don't work on those around them, because awareness is growing and people are being able to recognize, it triggers the narcissist as their carefully crafted persona begins to unravel and their support system begins to fail, and they can no longer manipulate and get away with their lies, which is often why they will go through a horrific discard of you to punish you for no longer serving them, and find a new supply to try and provoke those feelings of jealousy within you so that they can blame you. Social isolation. It's not nice being isolated. Narcissistic people will make their worst fears come true for you, and they will isolate you so that they can manipulate and control you all the more. However, with a narcissist, as people are becoming more aware, it is less likely for people to fall for the narcissist lies, the narcissist manipulation, which makes them more vulnerable to social isolation. And when they are isolated, they have to sit with themselves. And with all the things that they've done, it's not a nice self to have to sit with. We can all have things that we've done that we're not proud of, that we'd rather not reflect and go through. However, many of us choose to learn and grow. Narcissistic people seek to pass the blame and shame everybody else. Rejection. Rejection's not nice. We all know rejection is not a pleasant thing. However, we can often learn that we've not been rejected, we've been redirected, and learn new things. With a narcissist, it's their sense of entitlement you've questioned when you've rejected them. They believe they're entitled to your time and attention. So when you reject them, this hurts them and it leaves them looking for scraps of new supply. The narcissist collapse manifests in many different ways, and a collapse can happen for many different reasons depending on the narcissist and their most prominent criteria. However, it usually has those common underlying reasons, which is when they are being exposed in some way, when they're no longer getting their validation met, when they're no longer getting their ego stroked, when they're no longer getting their sense of entitlement met, these can easily trigger and lead to a narcissist collapse, which is often why they are constantly on the hunt for a new source of supply, so that they do not have to deal with themselves. They'd rather just blame and shame and everybody else and move on to somebody who's unaware of their manipulation.